This hour has 22 minutes.
Good evening. Earlier today, Canada's finest figure skaters unveiled their new costumes for the 1994 Olympics. The design is a joint venture of the Ministry of Recreation and Sport and the Department of National Defence.
Canada's 35th sitting of the House of Parliament opened today. A direct descendant of the Athenian Assembly, where their parliament traditionally opened with the ritual slaughtering of a piglet and the sprinkling of the resulting buckets of blood on the heads of the Assembly, our own parliamentary opening didn't provide nearly as much boffo fun as seeing the honourable members up to their necks in pig's blood. But it did have its own certain je ne sais quoi. Stout Canadian men fearlessly wearing gowns, glistening gold chains and rosettes, ribbons and tassels of all kinds, boldly donning their three-cornered hats. Ah, the pomp, the circumstance. The costumes were breathtaking, the props frighteningly real. Oh, and the stunning musical numbers. What a show. Canadian tax dollars well spent.
At the Bobbitt trial last week, Lorena Bobbitt's attorney argued that a life is more valuable than... Oh, I know. You're probably as fed up with penises as I am. I mean, before this happened, how often would you hear the word penis? And now it's penis this, penis that. Whenever you're looking for a cheap laugh, out comes the penis. Chop, chop. I don't want to hear another word about penis lengthening or shortening or bobbing or piercing. I don't want to hear about a penis in a coma or on life support. I don't want to hear about a dog eating a stray penis. I don't want to hear about chopping them up or tying them to a helium balloon or penises getting caught in elevator doors or plane doors at taking off or being grated in a grater or blended in a smoothie. I don't want to hear about one left soaking in brandy overnight or force-fed or free-range, tied in knots, sewed in a sweater, sun-dried, baked, fried, moulinade, sautéed. I don't want to hear about a penis driving a car, going off the road, hitting a tree. I don't want to hear about a penis having a breast lift, and I don't want to hear about Roseanne's penis. I'm so fed up because the whole penis thing has been beaten to death. And I don't want to see my husband's penis dressed up in a little clown suit with a little hat with a little pinwheel anymore. I'm not going to call him Francois, honey. That's not funny. It doesn't arouse me. I know this is a horrible way to tell you.
The Ottawa Citizen, a newspaper which won a big prize at the Newspaper Awards recently, reported on January 5th that executions in China have begun to soar. The next day, January 6th, the Citizen then reported that in China, human rights are making gains. The Ottawa Citizen, a newspaper known for its unique interpretation of world events. You know, and I think we should all, at some point, read a newspaper.
Since they met at Moscow State University in 1973, Ludmila and Vladimir Zhirinovsky have had the Russian fashion wags wagging. Although they always dressed like bookends, this marriage, which Vladimir Zhirinovsky claims is passionless, seems to be anything but. This hour has obtained exclusive footage of Ludmila Zhirinovsky engaged in what can only be called a brawl with her neo-Nazi, megalomaniacal better half, Vladimir.
It's mistake.
It's mistake. It's too late to say it's mistake. It's mistake I marry you, you vodka-soaked woman.
It's finish.
It's finished. It's not finished till I say it's finished. I give up promising law career to stand around and hear scum say it's finished. All right, now it's finished. No more dance around in my teddy with my tap pants on your head singing tomorrow belong, tomorrow belong, tomorrow belong.
Coming this Sunday, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. The Memoirs of Jerry Boyle.
People thought this was me, displaying early pugnaciousness. My earliest memory of my father is of him serenading us with music of his homeland. It left quite a deep impression on me. I remember every Sunday the weekly wash, whether we needed it or not. I remember my mother every Christmas serving a different seabird, roasted to perfection. One year, my personal favorite, the cormorant.
Some of my earliest memories actually turned out to be someone else's. All those years I was watching the neighbors' home movies. The doctors would later refer to this as false memoir syndrome.
The Memoirs of Jerry Boyle, 5 fairly short vignettes beginning this Sunday on CBC.
The reports we receive from Mexico paint a grim picture. The country has been thrown into a revolution that nobody could have predicted a month ago. We now go to Mexico, where we talk to foreign correspondent Tim McMillan. Hello, Tim.
Hello!
Can you tell us, are you yourself in any danger? Can you tell us at what stage the revolution is in as we speak?
No!
And why is that, Tim?
Because I'm not exactly in Mexico.
Well, where exactly are you, Tim?
Guess!
I don't really want to guess, Tim.
Oh, come on! It's the name of a Paul Simon song.
Scarborough Fair?
Oh! Graceland! You know, where Elvis lived? Memphis, Tennessee. I'm going to Graceland, Graceland.
So I guess we're not going to get that story on the Zapatistas, are we, Tim?
I bet that old revolution is going to go on and on. You know what revolutions are like. So I was thinking, in the meantime, maybe I could just do some kind of piece on the king.
That sounds like an original idea, Tim. A piece about Elvis.
Yeah, because Elvis was really popular. Was? What am I saying? Was. Is. He is really popular. Anyway, look, I gotta go. I'm doing the tour of the Jungle Room. Maybe I could give you an exclusive.
Well, don't get our hopes up too high, Tim.
Tim McMillan has left the building. Get it?
Now that is clever. Thank you, Tim. We look forward to your reports whenever they arrive.
And we're clear.
Babe! Thank you.
What?
Mom, what are you doing here?
I brought you a little sandwich, look.
Yes.
Black bread and dandelion. Look, I know that's your favorite, what? Or is that your brother Tim? It's
Tim.
Oh, my, how lucky is he to be on the show? I love to be on, you know. I am senior.
Mom, how'd you get in the building?
What?
I mean, which entrance did you use? You should really watch your step, because there's lots of ice around.
Frank, I love to keep up on current affairs,
Yes.
right? And who's that one Dan Johnson got in Ontario? Is that the big black fellow with all the steroids and the muscles and everything?
Mom, that's Ben Johnson.
Well, oh, yes.
Daniel Johnson just took over in Quebec.
Daniel Johnson, the
Yes.
one. Daniel Day Johnson was on Miami Vice.
That's right.
Right? With no socks and the stubble and the beautiful boats.
Yeah.
Oh, my Frank. What are they going to do in Austria?
What?
With all the fires? I hope the Von Trapp family are going to be all right.
No, Mom, that's the Sound of Music.
What?
They're all right. Remember at the end of the movie, they escaped over the hills into Switzerland?
Oh!
Listen, I'd love to stay and talk, but I have to go and do a voiceover, so I'll talk to you later.
Yes,
all
you
right?
got a grand voice, my
Shh,
darling.
careful,
Don't
Mom.
let anyone tell you no different.
Careful.
Look, wait now.
Yeah.
It's the syllables you have the trouble with, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't want to give you that mental block again.
No, Mom, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy that. Oh, look, there's JB. He wanted to do something on Eye on Seniors.
What?
He wanted to do something where seniors give their opinions. You should talk to him.
Yeah.
He loves black bread and dandelion.
Does he?
JB!
You think so?
Yeah, yeah.
JB, look. Black bread and dandelion, my darling. Look at that. You have a little taste of it. Look, I know you. I grew it in my own basement, darling.
Does your country have long bread lines? Does your capital city suffer from blackouts, from power surges? Are your people unhappy? Yeah? Well, take a look at our neighborhood. Hardly fair, is it? Fair schmear. We're NATO, you're not.
NATO. Membership has its privileges.
There are, at present, over 500 men's groups in this country, not including poker games, just groups of men sitting around talking about men's issues, of which there are many. We lead very stressful lives. We need a lot of sleep. We are only comfortable in track pants. We are 3.5 times more likely to end up in a mental institution. This is just what modern-day psychiatrists are now calling the burden of being male. We were put on this earth to suffer, and we accept that. It's manly. But now, they've gone too far. There is nothing. I repeat, there is nothing remotely funny about a man waking up with no penis. When I think of that poor guy sitting there, holding the sheets, praying that the only thing underneath that blanket was a horse's head and an offer he couldn't refuse. But no, now he's the laughing stock of the entire planet, and every single woman in the universe thinks that Mrs. should get off scot-free. Well, I tell you, if she walks, head for the hills, because men the world over are going to be calling off the choke chains, and the resulting carnage is going to make the LA riots look like a walk in the park. Because I tell you, hell hath no fury like a man torn.
Mahdi Ahmed Abdillahi, an Islamic Jihad terrorist wanted by the French government, fled Canada recently after living here for 18 months. I'm joined now by Debbie Dunphy of the Immigration Department. Miss Dunphy, how did Mr. Abdillahi get refugee status in Canada?
Well, you know, he seemed like a nice enough chappy, and I'm not a racist, and well, he had a lot of money.
He had a lot of what?
Well, he had a lot of
money? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Why, Miss Dunphy? Why does the Department of Immigration allow people like this terrorist in the country when other upstanding, hardworking people are denied entry and, in fact, deported back to their own countries, facing sometimes certain death?
I know! It seems really weird, and I'm only doing my job, right? Sometimes just a little something that don't check out, like maybe they don't have all their papers, or they got a dog with them, or a lot of times, you know, they just don't have any
money?
Yeah.
In the case of Mr. Abdillahi, was it because of his money that your department didn't get him sooner?
Well, I called him up and I said, don't be alarmed, don't take this personally, but there's a slim to none chance that we think maybe you're a little bit of a terrorist. So we want you to calm down for a few fingerprints. So I made out like it was a little fingerprinting party, and he came in, but then he fled. I think he felt uncomfortable being the only one getting fingerprinted at the party.
No doubt he would.
Mm-hmm. Look, here's the way it is for me. Canada is like a party, and some people are invited and some people aren't. You don't want all goody-goodies at the party. You want to mix it up a bit. That's my job, to put a few little bad ones in the mix to shake it up. Just like nuts and bolts, right?
Yeah. It's just like nuts and bolts, except it's more like life and death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
When I was up in intensive care getting my liver replaced, the whole time, all I could think about was beer. The only thing that got me through the operation was the thought that at some point in the future, I could drink a bottle of beer. And now that I'm going in for my throat operation, it's probably the only thing that'll get me through. Because I don't have any friends, and nobody will come to visit me at the hospital. It's like the only friend I have is a little bottle of beer. Dark Horse Beer. For people with no friends. Here he is, Marshall McLuhan's great-nephew on his mother's side, J.B. Dixon, with this hour's own special weather report.
Thanks, Frank. Okay, let's take a quick look at the worldwide war weather. Now, this year there are 35 armed conflicts on the globe. Now, thankfully, they are out of sight and out of mind, but worth a quick look and a second thought all the same. Looking here at the right side of the world where it gets hotter every second. Wow, look at that. Northern Ireland, Turkey, Georgia, Iran, Iraq, Lebanon, and on and on. The list goes on. So let's turn to some spots to watch in the coming year. Starting way down here in the land of the Nobel Peace Prize winners, South Africa. Now, most armchair war watchers are saying more war in '94. She's going to go boom. She's going to blow. Other areas to keep an eye on, Bosnia-Herzegovina. Our peacekeepers are crawling around on the ground, keeping the peace while keeping one eye on the sky, looking for those NATO bombing runs, which we are against as a country, but we're for as a member of NATO. Go figure. Here at home, on the left side of the world, lots of calm, except for a little aboriginal revolution here in Mexico, which brings us to Bing, Davis Inlet. Now, too soon to tell if there will be any real revolutionary action up there yet. No wartime warning has been issued, but the severely disgruntled pattern is holding. That's about it. I'll see you again in a couple of weeks when we trace Canadian arms sales systems to 10 conflicts that you weren't even aware of. Back to you.
Thanks, JB. And now a word from a normal Canadian. And as Elvis once said about her, she's one handsome woman. Here's Connie.
I was driving down the 401 when it hit me how happy I was to be a Canadian, how ecstatic I was to be a member of a people whose mounted police force got their testicles in a twist because one of their Sikh members wanted to wear a turban with his uniform. And the Legionnaires who got apoplectic because a Sikh veteran wanted to walk into their hall with a turban on. Oh, whip me with some wet weed, eh? Have you been in those halls, those Legion halls? Oh, bad chairs, bad paneling. Oh, and they smell. They actually smell like a grade 2 bathroom, the boys. And then they wonder where Legionnaire's disease came from. I mean, they'd be lucky to get a Sikh to lower himself to go into their halls. And then how about that judge in Quebec, eh, who threw that Muslim woman out of his courtroom because she had on a religious scarf? Beat me to death with a beaver tail. All this hat hysteria from a crowd of people who came up with the concept of the toque, closely related to the people who invented the busby, the tam o' shanter, the deerstalker, the hunter's hat. And still we managed to work ourselves up into fits of sanctimonious moral outrage at the thought of somebody wearing a simple but elegant scarf, whether wrapped or not.
And now it's time to drop in on the Coach of the Year with this week's Hockey Notebook.
Welcome to Hockey Notebook. Tonight, question. What books should you be reading to prepare yourself for that game we have come to know as hockey?
Jean-Paul Sartre?
No.
Albert Camus?
No.
René Descartes?
Think hockey.
A French-Canadian philosopher?
No.
The work of Plato?
You're reading too much. You're reading in the dressing room. You're reading on the bench. The answer is no bookwork during the hockey season. You have been watching Hockey Notebook.
Meat thievery appears to be on the rise in our nation's grocery stores. Anne Murray, pictured here stealing meat, stars in her own special on Sunday, January 23rd.
That's not Anne Murray, Sydney.
Whatever. I needed another story, and K.D. Lang wouldn't steal meat.
And coming right up after this on Cinema Canada, the 1994 remake of that movie classic, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, entitled Five Ugly Guys. Well, that's the way we saw the world this week. I'm JB Dixon, and speaking on behalf of all of us here at this hour, best of luck to Sydney and Molly, who are both semi-finalists in the 1994 She Anchor Olympics, which are being held this weekend in Prague.
Thank you, JB Dixon, and thank you, Frank,
You're
for
so
all of
welcome.
your support. Everyone here.
Good night! Good night!
Good luck in Littlehammer.
Good night.
Out, feet, in, stumps, in, deep breathing, out, suffocating, in, socks, out, many Band-Aids stuck together to form socks, as shown, in, Greenpeace, out, the livelihood of many people who made their living from the seal fishery, plus cod, in, humans, out, home assembly Frankenstein kits. In, cheese. Out, bowel movement. No. In, kissing. Out, going and making people smell your breath. Out, pocket protectors. In, penis protectors. This one with handy nighttime string.